Okay, hello everyone, it's Stephanie. I've got a chart on your screen here. I accidentally turned it the wrong direction and I haven't figured out how to turn it back around. This is that new tool I was telling you about that my kids are teaching me how to use. So I'm going to go on because it's late and I want to really get this video recorded for you. So please forgive me for having the chart sideways, but I think you can still read it. So anyway, today is Wednesday, April 22nd, and this is part 3 of our lesson for this date. We're in Unit 8, page 100. This is the Vision Church Level 2 class. And before you look at page 100, I want you to look at this chart that's on your screen, okay? Because what we're going to do in this lesson, we are going to connect ideas using and, but, and, or. So we see a weekend work schedule here for Jill, Becky, and Paul, right? Okay, so weekend would be Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to ask you some questions about this chart, okay? So does Jill work on Saturday? Look at that chart under Saturday. Do you see Jill? Yes, she does. All right, next question. Does Jill work on Sunday? Yes, she does. So you see Jill under the Sunday column as well. Okay? Poor Jill, she works the whole weekend, doesn't she? All right, so let's see. What else do I want to ask you about? Does Paul work on Saturday? Look under the Saturday chart. Yes, Paul does work on Saturday. Does Paul work on Sunday? Yes, Paul works on Sunday as well, but he doesn't work every Sunday. If you look at the chart, Jill's name is there. There are 4 weeks in a month. So that's why there's 4 entries there. So Jill works 1, 2, 3, 4 Saturdays, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 Sundays. So Jill works every weekend and the whole weekend. Okay, poor Jill. All right, so let's see, what else? Does Becky work on Sunday? Nope, because we don't see Becky's name under the Sunday column, right? Okay. So does Paul work on Sunday? Yes, he does. He doesn't work every Sunday like Jill does, but he does work on Sunday. He works 2 Sundays a month, so he works every other Sunday. Because you see, he's on the first line for Sunday, not the second one, then the third one, and not the fourth. So Paul works every other Sunday. So sometimes he works on Sunday. He works on Sunday twice a month. Okay, so does Jill work on Saturday? So not does, I'm telling you, Jill works on Saturday and Sunday. So we get to use that conjunction and. All right. Becky works on Saturday, but not on Sunday. So that's how you use but. And then, let's see, who's the other person? We talked about Jill and Becky. And then Paul. Paul works on Saturday and Sunday. He works on Saturday and every other Sunday. Okay, so that's Paul's schedule. All right, so let's look at page 100 now. I just wanted to show you a chart with a schedule so that you can see when you would use and, when you would use but, and you would use or. And so really for Paul, you would use or. Paul works Saturday or Sunday, but not ever both in the same weekend, if you can see that. The Saturdays that he works, he doesn't work that Sunday. So he works every other Sunday. So just to go through that again with this chart, Jill works Saturday and Sunday. Becky works Saturday but not Sunday. And then Paul works Saturday or Sunday. He never works both days in the weekend. Okay, so now let's look at 100 and the grammar focus. Well, lesson C, it says work on Saturdays and Sundays. So the grammar focus is conjunctions and, or, and but, like I told you. All right, everyone, we're going to continue on with our class. And once again, this is the Vision Church Level 2 class, Wednesday, April 22nd, and this is part 3 of our class. We're on page 100. Okay, so the grammar focus here is conjunctions and, or, but. And so we have the grammar rules here. We're going to read this, how to use these, in what situations to use these, okay? So, statements. I work on Saturdays. I also work on Sundays. And so that becomes, I work on Saturdays and Sundays, because those are similar ideas, the days that she works, right? Okay. Then sometimes he works on Saturdays. Sometimes he works on Sundays. And that combines with the conjunction or and becomes he works on Saturdays or Sundays. She works on Saturdays. She doesn't work on Sundays. And that becomes she works on Saturdays, but she doesn't work on Sundays. So if you go back to our chart, which actually I have taken it down, I don't have it here anymore. Let's see. Actually, I have it right here. If you look at this chart, you can see who we're talking about with those statements on page 100. I work on Saturdays. I also work on Sundays. Who is that? Yes, that's Jill, because she's on the schedule for Saturdays and Sundays, right? All right. Then the statements, sometimes I work on Saturdays, sometimes he works on Sundays. Look at the schedule. Who are we talking about? Yes, Paul, because if he works Saturday, he doesn't work Sunday. So he alternates days, right? So he works every other Saturday and every other Sunday. And then the last statement, she works on Saturdays. She doesn't work on Sundays. Who is that? Yes, that is absolutely Becky. Okay, so you see how I think it was easier for you to have the chart up on the screen instead of me holding it or trying to have it way back here because it's difficult to see. So anyway, I hope that was helpful the way I presented it the first time with this chart being on the screen. So, all right. Also, I want to encourage you, the grammar chart, I mean the QR thing that's right there on your page, that is a fantastic. I watched that today, and it does a really good job of explaining using and, but, and, or, and giving some pictures and more examples than what's here in this chart. So when you get an opportunity, you can either pause this video or you can watch it after class. But do watch that grammar lesson video because it will, I think you'll find it to be very helpful. Okay, all right, so let's go on with some examples here. Okay, so I'm going to write these on the board. Okay. I have my red. Oh, here's my blue Sharpie. All right. I think this one, my black one dried out. So I think this one you'll be able to see better. Okay. So I'm going to write the combined sentence on the board so that you can see what it should be. So let's do number 1 together. So exercise 2 says practice. Write. Combine the sentences. Use and, or, and but. Okay? So just like they did up here in the grammar chart on page 100 at the top, they took those 2 sentences and combined them, and they used either and, but, or. So that's what we're going to do with these. It's just more practice for us, okay? But don't forget to watch that grammar chart. It's really good. All right, so number 1, they did for us. Sometimes Irene eats Chinese food. Sometimes Irene eats Chinese food for lunch. Sometimes she eats Mexican food for lunch. So to combine those 2 sentences, you would use or because that's a choice. Irene eats Chinese or Mexican food for lunch. All right, now let's do number 2. Tito works the day shift. Tito also works the night shift. So to combine those 2 sentences, what conjunction would you use? Yes, that's correct. You'd use and. So Tito, oh my gosh, my Sharpies are not being very cooperative. Let me see if my red one will do any better. I'm so sorry, guys. My Sharpies are just drying out so quickly. Okay, here's the red one. Let's see if this will do better. All right, this is number 2. Combining these sentences about Tito. I think you can see that. Yeah, okay. All right, so Tito works the day shift. And the night shift. Poor Tito. I bet he has trouble sleeping because his body is up and down. Okay? All right, so that's it. So why don't you hit pause? Hit the pause button. Work on number 3 through 8 on your own. And then we will go over it together. All right, so hopefully you took the time to pause the video and work on the rest of those problems. And now we will go over it together so you can check. All right, so we did 1 and 2. Let's move on to number 3. Marco had an interview. He didn't get the job. Oh, poor Marco. So which conjunction would we use to combine those 2 sentences? Yes, we would use but. And we use but to connect different ideas. And the first idea is Marco had an interview. If he got the job, we would say Marco had an interview and he got the job, which is what he wanted. So those ideas go together. But because he didn't get the job, we use the conjunction but for the different ideas. So let's write that sentence up here. Okay, so this is number 3. Marco had an interview but what's the rest of that? He didn't get the job. Okay. Poor Marco. I'm sure he was very disappointed. All right, so let's move on to number 4. Did you get that right? Great. I hope you did. All right, so I'm going to go on to number 4. All right, number 4 says, Brian likes his coworkers. He doesn't like his schedule. Okay, which conjunction do you think? And, or but? Are those ideas similar or different? Yes, they're different. Something he likes, something he doesn't like. So we would combine those 2 sentences with but. And that's good that he likes his coworkers, because work is no fun if you don't like the people that you work with. So Brian likes his coworkers. And remember, we talked about coworkers in the earlier lesson? Those are the people that you work with, right? Just like the people here in this chart, they're all coworkers. Jill, Paul, and Becky are coworkers because they work together. All right, so Paul likes his coworkers, but he doesn't like his schedule. All right, did you get that? Awesome. Let me adjust my camera a little bit so you can see more of the screen of my board. Yeah, I think that helps some. And you can see my neck and shoulders. All right, so let's move on to number 5. All right. Erica takes care of her children. She also takes care of her grandmother. Wow, that's awesome. Erica sounds like a very nice person, doesn't she? She takes care of her children, and she takes care of her grandmother. Okay, so we would combine those with what? Or? No? With and, right? Because those are 2 things that she does. If one of them was something she does and the other something she doesn't, then it would be different. Or if she did this one sometimes and that one sometimes. But because she does them both, we would combine those 2 sentences with and. Because they're the same idea, similar idea of the things that she takes care of. So we would say Erica takes care of her children. Let's see, what number is that? Number 5. Erica takes care of her children and her grandmother. All right, similar ideas. What Erica takes care of on both sides of the and, okay? All right, I think I was blocking the light a little bit. All right, so let's move on to number 6. Carl cleaned the carpets. He doesn't make the beds. Sounds like my husband. Okay. Carl cleaned the carpets. He didn't make the beds. Which conjunction do you use there? Yes. But, because they're different ideas. One side, it's what he does do. The other is what he doesn't do. All right, so we'll say, let's see. Carl cleaned the carpets. I think that's what it says. Yes. But he didn't make the beds. Okay, very good. All right, so 2 more. Number 7. Sometimes Kate works in Austin. And Austin is a city in Texas. Sometimes she works in Houston. And that's also in Texas. Okay? What conjunction you think? Sounds like a choice to me, right? Yes. So, because it's a choice, we're going to use the conjunction or. So, sometimes, oops, I got to erase this first. Sometimes Katie works in Austin or Houston. Okay? So it must be nice to have a choice where you work. Okay? And then number 8. We are almost done, guys. Isla speaks Russian at home. He also speaks Russian at work. So these are similar ideas, right? Things that Austin does. The language he speaks at home and the language he speaks at work. Now, if this sentence said, Isla speaks Russian at home, Isla speaks English at work, then we would use but. Yes, because it's different languages. It's ideas that are not similar. Okay? So because it says he also speaks Russian at work, we're going to use the conjunction and, because they're Russian here, Russian there. Similar ideas, right? Okay, so we'll say Isla speaks Russian at home. And at work. All right. Wonderful. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for watching the class videos and practicing your English. I hope you get better and better. Please be careful out there. Stay safe. Wear your mask when you go out. And I miss you guys. I hope to see you soon. And thanks for coming to part 3 of the April 22nd English class for Vision Church Level 2. Bye. Don't forget to leave a comment on these videos in YouTube. That really helps me out a lot if you do that, okay? Thanks. Bye.